Hey guys, how's it going? I'm here with one of my clients, Will, at Viral Growth. We've been working together for like maybe almost a year at this point. I think we started chatting just shy of a year ago. Will runs one of the biggest, you could say, recovery businesses, addiction recovery, etc. On Instagram. He's got a very large following, lots of views, lots of clientele, and since working with each other, we've been able to solve a lot of problems and get a lot of great results. But Will would love to for you to tell the audience, what your business is all about, who you help, and kind of roughly, what we've been working on together.
Yeah, of course. So we run the Teetotal Trail, which is an online global community program which helps people who struggle with alcohol and cocaine problems. And we do that through a series of group coaching, group calls, one-to-one coaching, a lot of tools and resources online to help people. And we have an incredibly high success rate. And despite having an incredibly high success rate, we could see that there was a lot of potential out there, a lot of people we could help. And we were struggling to access them, which is why I originally reached out. And yeah, as soon as we got started, the first and biggest impact we had was that we improved the funnel system. So actually a very clear and concise way to take someone from struggling and seeing the content to how do we actually get them into a system? How do we get them qualified, and how do we get the qualified ones onto calls with the team? And we improved that drastically. As well as that, we changed up the offerings and the products and the services we had. So we had different products, because when we started, the average package that we sold was around £3,000 sterling. And now we have packages up to £21,000, which is about $30,000. And we're getting better results than we were before because of it, which was great. And in terms of the content itself, I remember when we first started, you analyzed everyone else in the market. You looked at how they were performing, what was working, what wasn't, what they were missing out on. And we used that and utilized it and harnessed a different style of content to be able to reach more people, but also reach the right people. And as well as that, recently, we've started harnessing paid ads as well and making sure we target the right people, getting out there to the right people. And yeah, all of it is because of you.
Well, I appreciate that a lot, man. That's a high praise. Um, Regarding the funnel, like before we fixed the funnel, what was that kind of looking like before we did all the fixes? What was like the breaking point, and then what did you implement to actually see the change? Because I think you had like an 80% no-show rate before, right? And then after fixing, if I remember correctly, that flipped to an 80% show up rate.
Yeah, good memory actually. I think I blocked that one out. Yeah, the no show rate was huge, and I think that's from our side as well. There was a huge level of someone's booked a call, and we just kind of thought, okay, we'll see them in a few days on the call. That's it. But the nurture sequence and making sure not only that, but instead of having 200 people booked for a month and seeing that as the metric of success, it's much nicer to take that down to maybe half or slightly less than half, but have the right people and have more people show up. So because of that, we've managed to, get more clients, help more people, and grow the business a lot more.
Amazing. And then talk to me about what we did in terms of adjusting the messaging so that you could then pick up the higher ticket, because you went from like 3 grand for the year for the program. I think you even increased that again. Did you increase that price point to maybe 5 or so, something like that for the lower end package?
Yeah. So it's 5.5 for the minute. Yeah.
5.5. And then we looked at the market and saw that there was the opportunity for a much higher price point. So I always look at pricing from the sense of silver, gold, and platinum. So we introduced that platinum tier offer. What did we kind of do there and what did you see work in terms of starting to target the wealthier individuals to get them in for that, the platinum tier package?
Yeah, well, I think this was probably for me one of the biggest impacts I saw on the business was introducing that platinum tier package, because there was a lot of people out there who actually our price point was so low that they disregarded the services being effective. And for those individuals, obviously we had to give them a platinum level of service as well, which we designed and crafted. It's so far working incredibly well for those people that have signed up. And yeah, we saw a rise in demand for that, and broke some limiting beliefs on my end. And yeah, it's been huge in progressing the business financially, and in terms of also what we know we can achieve and attracting those people as well.
Like tangibly, what are you seeing in terms of whenever you make a post based on what we worked on? What are you seeing are the kind of key things that are bringing in more leads? Because I think before, right, you were posting, you had some good views before, you were going viral quite a lot. But I think the lead flow could have been maybe a little bit better on that side. Is there anything you're noticing at the minute that, in terms of your content, that's bringing in quality lead flow?
Yeah, definitely. I think, one thing that I was a bit lax or not sure about was call to actions. And I think something you did really well was implement not only a plan with the content to get more views, but also to get people reaching out, to get people commenting, and also setting up the ManyChat system so that we actually had a proper flow when someone does reach out, because we have a lot of people reaching out. We have hundreds a day sometimes, and just being able to manage all of those leads, put them into a funnel, and be able to segregate the people who we can help from the ones that we can't. And yeah, it's made everything a lot smoother. But definitely in terms of the content, the call to actions, much slicker for sure.
Do you remember how long it took to get your first result with us? Whether it was lead flow, more views, like do you remember how long that took?
Oh, it wasn't long. It wasn't long at all. Well, I remember when we first started, I had to record all of those videos for not just the VSL, but all of the questions that people would get sent after they've booked a call. And instantly, I remember that's when our show up rate just improved almost overnight, because we were suddenly being able to nurture people onto calls in a better way. And yeah, I think also we introduced a lower package for a lot of people who actually couldn't afford our price point. And I remember we had the most amount of clients join that month than we'd ever had before. So that first month we worked together, I'd had twice the amount of clients I'd had any other month.
Amazing. I love to hear that. So that's amazing. So how is the business going to, or how has it changed up until this point, and what's kind of your plan for the future? Is there anything different you're going to be doing moving forward? Like what's kind of the plan for the Teetotal Trail?
Yeah, it's definitely opened my eyes to how this can be scaled. And I think learning how to scale that, how to really fully monetize the attention it brings, to make it all automated and smooth, I think is the most important part, because any bottlenecks in the business, in my niche, means that someone doesn't get the help that they need. So it's really important that this is not just for business, not just for revenue, not just for our own satisfaction, but for the people out there that are struggling. It's super important that this happens and scales in a really, really clever way. Because then, yeah, the future is just nonstop growth.
Yeah. And what you said there, and this is why I was actually quite, looking forward to working on your project when you came on board at VG almost a year ago, is that you hear a lot of people say, when they're running the business, oh, I'm going to have this impact, but they're just selling some crap, some whatever they're selling, but it's not actually impactful. Whereas what you're selling, the more financially successful you become in the business, literally the more people that you impact, less cocaine problems, less alcohol problems, less, secondary, tertiary problems in their life with relationships, workplace, all these things. Like you're literally impacting thousands and even millions of people through your content if you look at it through that lens. I remember before you signed up, actually, you were one of the biggest skeptics, actually, I think, for before that I've had to communicate with before signing up. I'm curious, like what had you skeptical in the beginning? What kind of was the flipping point? And then how did that kind of get quashed after the fact?
Yeah, it's a really good point, because I am probably the person that most people are skeptical of online. Most people don't sign up because they think this guy's a scam. And yeah, do you know what I think it was for me was I'd never made an investment into the business that big before, that it had me back and forth in my head a lot. And then I think one of the biggest reasons was because I was using an English bank that blocked the payment and told me it was a scam, and it just got into my head. And I thought, oh, maybe they know something I don't. But then, do you know what was interesting? I actually spoke to one of my coaches, and they said to me, if investing in this guy, well, he said, first of all, what's the biggest fear here? And it was like, well, what if he takes my money and runs away? I said, would he still be doing what he's doing if that's the case? And I was like, yeah, probably not. And then the second thing was, okay, the second thing is maybe we don't get a result. And he said, would it be worth investing that money just to see how he would go about it? What knowledge does he have? Why is he so confident he can do this? And if maybe you learn how he's doing it and it doesn't work, you can try it yourself. Would it be worth the money? And I said, absolutely. And he said, well, what are you waiting for? And I think that's when I reached back out and I was like, yeah, well, it's ironic because a lot of people are skeptical of me, and I was definitely a big skeptic at the beginning there. But as soon as we got to work, I, rightfully so, kicked myself for not doing it immediately.
Yep, I should hire. I think that was Chris. I should hire Chris as my own closer, man. He was able to close you on on working with us. No, that's amazing. That's amazing. So yeah, I mean, last kind of words. Like, would you recommend working with Viral Growth? What's your overall opinion of the company? Would you recommend it to anyone else watching this?
I would only recommend it if someone wants to seriously improve their business. And I think that's it. I think, all of the testimonials that you have, and this one included, are real and they're valid. You deliver on what you say you're going to deliver. And yeah, to be honest, anyone who's on the fence is wasting time.
Well, I appreciate your time, man. And many more years of growth to come for the Teetotal Trail, I'm sure. And yeah, appreciate everything that you're doing, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, man. It's a pleasure.